This is Encounters with Life. I'm Sean Abigail, your host. Let's talk about Mark Carney. He is almost certain to become the Liberal leader, and he will then almost certainly become the Prime Minister of Canada. And we don't know how long he'll stay as the Prime Minister of Canada. And today I want to talk about why I believe Mark Carney is the worst choice for Prime Minister. Hear me out. So first of all, he is part of the Laurentian elite. He is one of the elites who run the country. They have the contacts. They're part of the organizations and so on. He is the ultimate insider. And he tries to portray himself as an outsider who's coming in. But the fact of the matter is, he's got support of all of the major cabinet ministers, all of the key MPs. He has support from the Prime Minister's office. Jerry Butts and Katie Telford, very significant political players in Canada. They support him. The Big Red Machine supports him. He's not an outsider. He is the ultimate insider. And also, it kind of strikes me as a little bit, well, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, that he wants to swoop in as the outsider. He wants to swoop in and take political power. He wants to, having never been elected, be the supreme political authority in Canada. To me, that's just crazy. But now let's learn a little bit more about him. He is a European. Now you think, well, he's a Canadian, isn't he? Well, yes, but he's also got British citizenship, and he's also got Irish citizenship. And at last year's World Economic Forum, he identified himself as a European. As a European, I am a European, actually. Yeah, an Irish citizen. Speaking as a European, Canadians want their political leaders to be Canadian, and I sure do. And people say, yeah, but what about Andrew Scheer when it came out that he had American citizenship as well as Canadian citizenship? You know what? I wasn't very impressed at the time. I wasn't very impressed by that. I think that a Canadian Prime Minister should have only Canadian citizenship, and when he's running for her Prime Minister, and when he is Prime Minister, he should only have Canadian citizenship. Mark Carney is a European. He thinks like a European. He's just visiting Canada to rule us. All right, let's learn a little bit more about Mark. He is a member of the Chatham House, which great organization in that they gave us the Chatham House rules, very useful set of rules for international discussions and so on. But he's part of these organizations. He's part of the right clubs, the right organizations. Everything about him just screams elite. Now, have a look at this biography about him from the Chatham House. He stepped down as vice chair of Brookfield Asset Management, one of the biggest financial organizations in the world, head of ESG and impact fund investing. He is a big believer in the carbon tax. He is a big believer in green everything. And, I just don't think he's got his, I don't think he's really thinking about the economy. The economy is a means towards his green ends. And it strikes me as wrong. Now, here's something else. He identifies himself as a social justice warrior. That's great. Sort of a Greta Thunberg in a suit, I guess. Frankly, the social justice warriors have some legitimate concerns and go about it in an entirely wrong way. But I don't want a prime minister who is a social justice warrior. I want a prime minister who's got his finger on the pulse of the economy and who is making sure that Canada is a strong and independent nation. That's what I want. I don't want someone who's bending over backwards for all the latest trendy political causes. Now, let me introduce you to a word. It's one of my favorite words. I don't use it too often, but I definitely use it in the case of Mark Carney, and that is arrogate. He is arrogating to himself powers that he has not earned at the ballot box. So, for instance, he posts messages about how he's in discussions with cabinet ministers about the Trump tariffs. not his job. I'm sorry, but there's no political position of want to be the next prime minister. There's like the prime minister. There's the leader of the official opposition. There are various provincial premiers. There are members of parliament. There's members of cabinet. But there's no wannabe. That's not a position in Canadian government. And he is arrogating to himself the rights to go and advise and talk to our cabinet ministers when it comes to the Trump tariffs. Just again, it's something else that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, now here's the rub of it all. He is the ultimate insider, and here's a message. It was from January 25th about the leadership race, and he's saying, reminder, it is free to sign up as a Liberal, and it's the only way you'll be able to vote for change. He is he is positioning himself as the candidate of change. He's been behind the scenes advising prime ministers and advising cabinet ministers and all these things, but he now says, no, I'm not like those other guys. I'm not like the Trudeau Liberals. I'm the voice of change. I mean, come on. How big a whopper do you think we're going to believe? It's just crazy. Okay, now here's something else. He's talking about using the Emergencies Act to extend his power. He's not even prime minister yet, but he's talking about using the Emergencies Act to lock down Canada to force his own climate agenda. Well, that's what people are saying about him, but it's true. He is a true believer in the green agenda, and he will do anything he can to keep going with that. But now here's something else that's a little bit scary. He could ignore the election date law, the fixed election date law, to stay in as prime minister until 2026. And in fact, he could even use emergency powers to stay in power after the official election date. He could use his emergency powers to stay in as prime minister. And the only one thing needs to happen to make that so, and that is for Jagmeet Singh to roll over and play dead. And, Jagmeet's done a good job of that. He talks tough, and then he just rolls over. So I'm really worried that Mark Carney is going to arrogate to himself even more powers and call himself prime minister for a long time to come. Well, Mark Carney is new to Twitter, and that's not a bad thing, okay? But it's not as if Twitter has been his very open, transparent means of communication. He's just recently discovered Twitter. He really only has half those posts because every post is in English and French, of course, and I don't know who writes the French for him because I don't think he's doing it himself. But he's not been an open and transparent communicator in the past. Again, one of the elite. He walks in the right circles. He has the right contacts. He's got the people network. He's part of the right organizations. And that just, frankly, bugs me. But now, last and maybe least, okay? Why am I talking about $2,000 running shoes? I don't blame a person if he or she has money. I think it's great. Go for it. If you can earn a good buck, if you can make yourself wealthy, more power to you. Go right ahead. But wearing $2,000 running shoes to go out and get a photo op of you playing hockey, that just strikes me as phony. Now, full disclosure, I have a pair of running shoes that I wear in the winter when I don't need my boots. They are old. They are falling apart. They are now crusted with salt. This is going to be their last season, and they only cost me $30 to start with. So I wasted $30. If I hadn't worn them out in the snow, maybe they would have lasted me an extra season or two. But Mark Carney is out wearing $2,000 running shoes while he's doing this photo op. And let's not pretend that he goes out and plays hockey, okay? This is a total photo op. Look, I'm Canadian. Yes, I'm Irish. Yes, I'm British. Yes, I'm a European. But yes, I'm Canadian too. And I'm playing hockey in my $2,000 running shoes. It just screams phony. Okay, that's what I think about Mark Carney. But more importantly, what do you think? So let me know in the comments, please, because I love to read your comments. I love to know what you're thinking. And also, if you could, like, subscribe, share, and press that notification button. That's going to help me grow the channel and gives me encouragement to keep on producing content for you. I'm Sean Abigail. That's Encounters with Life.